folks, thanks for stopping by and welcome back to my YouTube channel Czechoslovak Gun Stories. My name is Kuba, and in today's episode I would like to make a short follow-up on the topic we discussed previously, and that's how the European Union is trying to grab our guns. So if you watched the previous video I posted here, I discussed how the Czech gun laws should improve in the future. I discussed with you an amendment to the Czech constitution which should kind of help to protect us from the gun grabbers in the European Union. And I also mentioned at the end of the video that there's going to be more restrictions going our way from European Union, and one of them was so-called LEADBAN. In today's video I would like to just make a quick follow-up video and explain what the LEADBAN actually is. Now, as for the LEADBAN, the European Union has proposed a new legislation that should limit or put more restrictions on the use of lead in what's called wetlands. So the area of wetlands and 100-meter buffer zone around it, there should be a restriction on using lead not only by hunters but also by fishermen and, well, pretty much anybody else using lead for any activity in the wetlands and the buffer zone area. And that's the important thing, the buffer zone area, the 100-meter area around the wetland. Because what they are actually trying to do is already working in the Czech Republic. As of 2011, we have a law that prohibits the use of lead ammo in the wetlands. So the hunters are not allowed to use the ammo in the wetlands. So you may be wondering, why are the Czechs moaning again? What's the problem with it? If they already have the legislation in place? Yeah, well, we have the legislation in place, but the problem is that the European Union legislation, or what they propose, is actually much worse than what we have in place. Now, let's discuss the differences, right? The Czech legislation actually explains pretty clearly what is wetland, so that you know where exactly are you not allowed to use lead. The European Union legislation doesn't do that. So let's have a look what can be actually wetland. Oops, looks like I just created a wetland. So you see for yourself, the legislation is completely stupid. Now, it was actually voted through in the European Parliament last week. Unfortunately, Czechs had promised from several other countries, several other members of European Parliament that they would actually support us. We had a chance to return this legislation back to the European Commission, who proposed it. Unfortunately, even though majority of the Czech members of the European Parliament voted against this legislation, so they wanted to actually send it back to the European Commission for some reworks, well, we didn't gain enough votes for this plan to actually work, so the legislation passed, and, well, we'll see what happens next. However, let's just discuss what exactly is the problem. It's very vaguely explained what is wetland, and, well, let's see what can be the result of it. So let's say that even a sort of a simple puddle of mud or rainwater or spilled water is considered a wetland. What happens when the puddle of mud is next to the gun range? Well, that's a problem. Even if it's just an indoor range, it's still in 100 meters buffer zone around wetland. Wetland, should I be more precise? So if you are at the range shooting using lead ammo, which you are obviously, as I don't know anybody who's not using lead in the projectiles, so then you are actually committing a crime, right? Or felony. So you probably will face some legal issues, and that may be a way for you to lose your firearms license. So in a way, we can say that it is a way how the European Union tries to get the guns out of the hands of the Czech shooters, because, well, if they cannot grab the guns, they will limit as much as possible the places where we can use the guns. And well, in the Czech Republic, the law says that you are only allowed as a sport shooter, if hunting is something quite different, but if you are a sport shooter, you are only allowed to use the gun within the facilities that are gun range, right? They are licensed, so you can't really use a gun outside licensed gun range. So that's a problem. What may happen that all the ranges will be closed, because if you can't run your range when there's rain outside, even if somebody just spills a cup of water in front of your range and creates wetland, well, then I think that economically, from an economical perspective, that will probably ruin the ranges. So what can happen is that we all end up either with guns in our vaults, but without range. We will also have problems to get an ammo, because if lead will be creepily restricted, not only in wetlands, but it will be restricted on sales and blah blah blah. Then the ammo will be unavailable, and as you probably know, all the other types or alternatives to lead ammo are very expensive. So you will have your gun at home, but there's gonna be no range where you'll be allowed to shoot the gun. Also, you won't be able to get the ammo for the gun. So yeah, that's just another way of gun control from the European Union perspective. Such bullshit can be fixed pretty easily, simply by actually describing what is wetland. If they want to protect wetland, why don't they describe what is wetland? If they want to protect something, they must know what it is. There must be something that they know, okay, this exactly needs protection. This does not. Well, they don't do that because obviously it's not about protecting wetland and birds and animals living there. It's about gun grabbing attitude of the European Union these days, right? So as you can tell, it's just a scam. A scam that has one simple purpose: to make the life of the shooters and gun owners more complicated. One more interesting information regarding this legislation. Approximately a year ago, a couple of organizations that deal with gun rights in the Czech Republic shared an information with the general public that the European Union is preparing such law, which should actually go after the people who use lead ammo, and that it should prohibit the use of the lead ammo somehow. We weren't sure how exactly would it be working, but that this is actually being prepared by the European Commission. The European Commission released a statement that it is a lie, that we are spreading misinformation, the gun community. And as you can see, 1 year later, it was not only presented by the European Commission, but it was also already approved. So who's the liar? Who's spreading misinformation? So what's gonna happen next with the legislation, I'm not sure, but I thought I would share this with you so that you know what is going on and what we are up against up here in the Czech Republic. We are still fighting for our gun laws. That's also a reason why we have the amendment to Czech constitution in place, even though we discussed in comments, it may be a little vague, it's not all that straightforward, but still it's just another tool how to push against the European Union attempts to grab our guns. It should not work on its own, but it should be just a part of the whole system of countermeasures. So you should bear that in mind, right? It's necessary. we really are facing a lot of serious attempts to grab our guns, so we'll be fighting. That's all we can do after all, right? So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for your attention, and next time I promise we will discuss something more interesting about the history of the Czech firearms again. So thank you, and until next time.